a soul so high, blue eyes, fake cry. Beware of the fucks tonight. The cold feet.
Hello, welcome back to the NOVAtazz Automotive Podcast. This is episode 38 of season 4. If you're new to the live stream, we're here every Saturday night at 9 p.m. And if it's your returning viewer, welcome back. So, looks to me like I am here on my lonesome at the moment. We'll see if we get anybody else in. Pretty sure that I have everything figured out here as far as that. All right, anyway. So where's my mic? I need to bring my mic back over here. Give me a second. Hold on, situated. Anyway. So, if we don't get anybody other co-hosts here, we'll go over some fun car facts today. Give you some update on what's going on with the channel and where I'm at with the Jean Grey build, the EFI Holly Sniper swap thing going on. And leave the floor up to you guys out there in the chat if there's anybody out there in the chat to talk to. So, still don't know why that buffers. But anyway. So, as far as the build goes, we put up a video, I think last Friday, of the first part of the Dash series. Now, I have the second part in rough draft. I haven't been a chance to work on it. Been busy. Actually been out in the garage a lot this week. Nothing that I've really filmed. It's just a bunch of smaller stuff. I made a radio trim out bezel for the dash to cover up that area. Factory wise, it's supposed to have something there. I never had one in my car. In fact, when I got the car, they had hacked the crap out of that whole area to install an aftermarket radio. I mean, they hacked it out so bad I couldn't even install a single DIN radio into that slot. So I had made a fix back in around 2015 that worked to hold a radio in there, but it wasn't the prettiest thing. Well, when I went and recovered the dash, we oops. What's oops?
Yeah, I didn't have the stream muted.
Oh, that's okay. I didn't hear anything. It's only me anyway.
Well, that's great.
There's actually not even anybody in the chat right now.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I don't know what's been last couple of weeks, but it's been a little bit slow to get people in here.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I think it partly is the fact that it's a Saturday night.
Well, it's the only day that's all right for fighting.
Okay. Well, we don't talk about Fight Club unless you're.
Right.
Yeah, we don't talk about Fight Club.
That's right.
But
so
go ahead.
Heard you were talking about the build.
Huh?
I had heard you were talking about the build. Have you made any progress on that thing?
Yeah, I've been off since Tuesday. Tuesday was my first day off. I haven't been able to dedicate a whole lot of time out there, but I more than usual. So I was talking about the fact that we already have the one video out there of the dash, which is basically just prepping the dash to be rewrapped. So did all the body, I guess it's body work. Is it dash work if it's on a dash?
Sculpture work.
Prep work. It's prep work.
Pottery.
There, yeah, I was sculpting a dash. But so we did all of that. I fixed all the stuff in the backside of the dash that was busted. And that video's up. In fact, it's doing very well. It has over 300 views, which is For my regular like build content videos, it's pretty good. My how-to videos, they're just crazy. They just take off. I mean, I don't know if you would consider that a how-to video. It could be. It could be why it's taken off. But I'm not instructing anybody that this is how it's done. This is just how I did it. So we got that video out. It's doing very well for my channel, especially of late. And that's done. I actually have the dash finished. In fact, it looks absolutely gorgeous. Except for the one boo-boo I did, which I'm going to try to fix. I caught it with a Dremel.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good.
Not with a sharp part, but with like the collet.
Okay.
But it did mess it up a little bit. It's not. It's my dash. It's gonna bother me. I mean, it just looks like it looks like a scuff. But I'm gonna try to fix it with those vinyl repair. You know, the things that people wanted me to use. The where you put little like the rubbery liquid stuff in there, and then you imprint the. And I'm gonna just because it's only surface layer. It didn't go all the way through. And I'm hoping that will blend it in more.
Yeah.
So that's my fault. I don't feel like recovering that whole dash because that's $40 in material, and that was a pain in the frickin' ass. Well, and that's not including the glue. Because the glue is
not including the glue?
No, the glue is $50 for a gallon. And I used probably about a half gallon.
Of glue.
Yeah, contact cement.
Jeez. I hate interior work. I always have. I suck at upholstery and I suck at
I'm pretty good at it.
I mean,
I could show proof. I'm pretty good at it.
I think you did show some proof. Yeah.
I did. I think I showed it last week of it done, but I've actually flushed it out. All the gauges are in it. I even cleaned up and spruced up some of the dash gauge parts. So like I repainted some of the metal structures on them. Obviously I cleaned up the plastic some, polished the face bezel.
Yeah.
The machine turned part.
Sure.
Because it was all hazy and not shiny.
Is any of that on Instagram?
Ish. Teaser shot is.
Okay. Yeah, then that's.
It's in our group chat.
That's right. The group chat. Yes.
The one that you have muted.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, their update pictures are in our group chat. I'm waiting for people to pop in. Nobody's popped in. We have people here, I think, unless it's just you. Might be just you. But anyway, so I cleaned up some of the dash parts. I got all that stuff in there. I actually resprayed like all of the black trim that's on all of the parts, including like the little rings that go around the gauges, because like the gauge cluster sits behind like this beauty plate, which is the machine turn, and then it has plastic halos that surround it, ring bezels. And they were all faded or whatever. So I resprayed them in black texture paint, the same paint that I used to paint the radio bezel. And I painted, there's a black trim piece that goes across the top of that beauty plate that meets the actual dash itself. And that's what actually screws the that trim piece to the dash. So all that stuff has been fresh painted black, so it's all nice and shiny and like vibrant black instead of like washed out. You obviously like old cars. You know what I'm talking about when like black plastic just it gets dull.
I know what you mean.
So I resprayed all of that stuff and have all that ready. I'm actually in the process right now of I've just dug out the first harness in that dash rewiring kit and laid it out. Picture of that is on Instagram. Along with it, the picture has the dash on the top half ready to be, as it should go back in the car. And then below it has the new harness. What are you doing? Lay down. No. I'm mad at you. He ate my socks. Mad at him.
That's not good.
No. He ate them and then left them on the back at the back door for me to clean up.
Oh, just disrespectful.
I know, right? It's like when a cat freaking eats a mouse and brings it at you and regurgitates it for you.
Well, that's an honor.
Yeah, that's different. But it's I mean, I don't know if it's an honor to eat my socks and then give them back to me, but it's not how I want them washed.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Tumble dry low. I don't know.
I'm sure they'd have a certain smell to them.
Oh yeah, just a little.
But anyway,
Yeah.
so right now, currently out in the garage, I have a harness laid out on one side of the hood, and I have the dash flipped over on its face on a blanket on the other side of the hood.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also had to clean out the whole inside of the car because it's just been 5 years of car disassembled and stuff just thrown inside.
Right.
And then also 5 years of something deciding to live in my car. That wasn't me.
You didn't want to live in your car?
Well, not with the residents that were living in the car.
No.
No, I mean, I mean, unless you're a fan of Stuart Little.
I'm a fan of Rod Stewart.
Rod Stewart's different than Stuart Little.
Just a little.
Stuart Little doesn't leave a mess in your car and eat your paperwork.
Stuart Little doesn't do that, or Rod Stewart does?
Rod Stewart doesn't do that. So I had to stop today because my girlfriend had her first like in-person vendor sale. She does a lot of her sales online, so she's she shows you what you got. You can say, hey, I want that, or I want this, and you can buy it that way. Or she has her online store. But today was her first like take her products, set up a booth, and sell stuff person to person.
Mm-hmm.
Which went amazingly well. She did pretty well. But that was like most of yesterday and all day today, because yesterday was setting everything up and packing everything up ready to take. And of course she worked last night, so she worked from she worked from 4 p.m. yesterday to midnight. When she got home, obviously got whatever. We had to be up this morning by 7. She didn't get home to midnight. She had to be up by 7 this morning.
That's not good. That's less than a 7-hour sleep.
Yeah, so we're both exhausted. I didn't go to bed until like 2:30, and she went to bed after me, and we were both up at like 7, 8 o'clock this morning.
What's the point of going to bed, man? It's actually harder on you at that point.
I guess, but I needed sleep. I was up over 24 hours.
Yeah,
well, not over, just under 20. I would have been up for 24 hours by that time.
What happens, man? I mean, your life is so busy.
So yeah, so we did that today. We were there till like 4. By the time we cleaned up and got home, it's like 5:36. She had to go to bed because she's got to go in tonight at midnight. And she's sleeping now. She might be getting up here shortly to have dinner before she goes in. But yeah, so like I haven't gotten anything done today. But I want to vacuum out the inside of the car so that way when I'm laying in the car trying to lay harnesses out that I could see what I'm doing.
Right.
And I'm also not laying in 5 years of whatever's been in there since the last time I drove and cleaned the car.
Yeah.
Because it was body panels, and I pulled out a good size bucket of loose bolts and screws, which I got to figure out where the fuck they go now.
Don't need them to run right.
Miscellaneous interior screws, miscellaneous dash screws. I'm sure the dash screws that I was looking for to put all the instrument clusters on that I went out and bought new screws for is probably somewhere in that pile.
Extra. They're
now extra. They now can go towards whatever else I need them for.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so like there's all that stuff. So I'm getting to the part where I can't avoid having to work on this harness any longer. Because I'm running out of other things to do side projects for.
Right.
I
know what you mean.
Yeah, you like when there's a task that you don't really want to do, but you need to do, but you keep finding other excuses of things that you need to do before that one.
I just experienced that yesterday, actually.
Yeah, so the radio bezel was the last one, and then putting all of like freshening up all of the little bits and bobs that go in the dash. Those two things were the last things that I was doing.
Yeah.
I've run out of the things.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
now time to hunker down and get to actually putting. And it's the funny thing is I don't know what I'm bitching about. It's not that it doesn't look that complicated.
I actually don't mind wiring. I like wiring. I do not like wiring diagnosis. I like actually like physically doing the
Oh yeah,
wiring
so
and
do I.
just
I enjoy also like hunting down where the gremlins are and stuff like that.
you enjoy that?
Yeah,
That's
it's a puzzle. But
oh
it's not necessarily that I'm avoiding doing it because I think it's going to be hard. It's
yeah.
just a large task.
Yeah, I know what you
I mean, there's like 7 or 8 different harness packs, and some of them, like the taillight harness and some of the other stuff, like the dash one's easy because the dash really doesn't have any loose terminations. It's literally just kind of laying it in there and then wrapping it so that way it looks nice and whatever. The
mean.
taillights and the engine compartment, a lot of that has loose ends that you need to terminate. You need to cut the length and crimp and all of that, which really isn't that hard as far as it is, but it's like, you know, you don't want to do something and end up screwing it up or putting a wire too short or running a wire where, for the most part I can run them where the factory ran them. But obviously with putting in new stuff, like I've I haven't really worked with relays and stuff like that much because in the older cars there really wasn't that many relays. Everything really kind of had, for the most part, a direct current. Power went to the switch went to the part. The switch interrupted the power, whatever. Whereas a relay, the power runs through the relay, the switch just interrupts the relay.
Yeah.
So that way the switch doesn't have the current going through it.
Yeah.
I think the only ones in an old school car that has something like that are, obviously like turn signals because they're an automatic relay.
Yeah.
Um, your headlights, I think, go through a relay. No, I think in the old ones they didn't.
My Cadillac doesn't. I mean, my Cadillac has a little bank of relays on the firewall at the base of the steering column where it goes through the firewall,
Mm-hmm.
and I think there's four, and one is, and they're boxes. The turn signal relay is somewhere completely different in a little circle, but they're box relays, and they're so strange. One is for cruise, one is for the seat locks that lock the recline to get in the back seat.
I think I can install a cruise control on the TA now that I have the EFI in it.
Really? Okay. That might not be a bad
No,
idea.
my Nova had a cruise control.
Yeah.
Um, well,
Until
no,
you
it
get
had
back
the
to
option of has
it.
cruise control. Mine did not have cruise control, but it was actually
Yeah.
on the stock. It's one of the stocks that you would pull
Yeah.
and to set the cruise control on the older cars.
Well, would you use a factory GM stock in your TA to
I don't
actuate the
know.
cruise control? Or
Don't know. It might just have a
oh,
button
yeah,
that I would hide like on the underside of the column or something.
yeah, yeah, I know what you mean.
Um,
Well, cruise control is never a bad idea. I
no,
like it. Like,
and it all depends. I mean, like if I choose to actually fully convert that over to a manual transmission, well then cruise control is no longer really an option.
as opposed to half converting it to a manual
Well,
transmission.
no, like, all right. So if you had the Pontiac 400,
Yeah,
you could only get that with a manual transmission.
yeah.
My Pontiac 400 has an automatic behind it.
Hmm.
I did half the swap. I swapped the engine. I didn't swap the trans
Interesting. Okay.
because my car originally came with a 403 Oldsmobile.
I see what you mean. Okay.
So I
Yeah.
pulled out the Oldsmobile and swapped in the Pontiac 400.
And is that trans? What trans have you got in it now?
That's a turbo 350.
And yeah, those are pretty good trans. How much power is that 400 making right now? Well,
Hard to say
zero.
because it's not stock.
Right.
I mean, stock wise, that 400 probably made around 160 to 180.
So not much.
They make a lot of torque, which torque is actually what tears apart transmissions, not horsepower.
Yeah, that's a very good point. That is true.
It's
Well,
the
what kind of torque figures?
you're close to 400 foot-pounds of torque.
Oh, that's quite a bit. That's
Yeah,
quite a
those
bit.
big engines make quite a bit of torque. They're torquey
Wow.
engines. They're not high horsepower engines. Now this engine, like I said, has it's been bored 30 over, which really doesn't do much. Um, it has the head shaved down 30 thousandths, which that does do quite a bit because that increases your compression ratio. So instead of it being like an 8.5 to 1, it's like a 9.5, 10 to 1. You missed everything, Harvey. So it's increased the compression ratio, so it's now closer to what the coveted 6X heads produced as far as compression ratio, because they're instead of it being like 100 cc's, they're no, instead of it being like 96 cc's, it's down closer to like 83 cc's. So the heads have been shaved. Now this was all before I bought the engine. I have never had this engine apart further than the intake off of it ever. Literally, we bought it, we threw it in the car, it fired right up as soon as I got a carburetor on it that worked, and we fixed all the electronics, it fired right up. Yeah, currently. He said Pontiac. I'm not sure if you follow in the chat at all. Harvey just popped in. He said, "What do I miss?" I told him everything.
Everything.
And he said, "Story of my life." And then he asked if it was Pontiac talk, and I said, "Yeah." But anyway, so we what was I gonna say? So the heads are shaved, and then it has the 04 grind cam, which is the same specs as the cam that was in the Ram Air 4 GTOs. Decent power. So this thing should be pushing anywhere over 220, closer to 260 horsepower, which for that engine's pretty decent. And I don't know where the torque specs will end up being. I haven't had a dynoed, obviously. We've barely had the thing running, and I've had it since 2015. I can tell you that it shakes the ground. I don't know if I've told you this story. I've told it several times, but so back when we had it at her mom's house, and I was just trying to get the thing to run consistently, because we had electrical issues with it. I've had distributor issues. I've had all kinds. There's a reason. That's the whole thing that led up to the EFI swap, is dealing with the carburetor was actually off of my Nova, because the stock carb does not work in it at all. It's everything's loose as far as like the butterflies, like the actual rods that go through for the butterflies, all of that's loose. It's all worn out. I don't know how many miles were on that 400 before it was rebuilt, but obviously that carburetor needed to be rebuilt with it, and it wasn't. But that carburetor wouldn't run at all. So when we put the Edelbrock one on it, we got it to run. It would idle. It would just, you couldn't do anything like wide open throttle. It would cut out and die. But anyway, so I don't know what it'll make, but that's right. I was telling you the story of the ground shaking. Anyway, so while I was doing the distributor and different things before we got it running really nice, because I had bought a brand new billet distributor for it, I had the tripod sat on our one Kia Soul that was parked about 8 to 10 feet away from the car. It was off. It wasn't running. And I had the tripod with the camera sitting on top of the hood of that car. Fired up the TA, and the camera was vibrating over on the Kia. You can feel that car running. If you were somehow completely deaf, you could feel that car running.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's got, and it's lopey. So that cam gives it that nice chop down at real low RPMs.
Uh,
Um, but yeah, it should be. When me and Chris loaded that car up from the storage unit to bring it home,
mm-hmm.
I pulled it out of the space, and I had to pull it out around the front of his truck because the trailer was obviously on the backside, so I had to go out around the front of his truck, down the side to the trailer, and then turn around to go up the ramp. Just burped it, like 10% throttle, just enough to burp, right? Squealed both tires as it came around the truck. Literally just broke them free. Barely even like got on it, just blurp.
What's your rear end?
It's a limited slip.
What is the gears?
Should be stock around 283.
Seriously? They even put a 2 anything in the Trans Ams?
And the automatics, yeah.
Oh, right.
The stick shift one's got a little higher. They got a 3 something, like a 328. But gotta remember, they are very high torquey cars. They're not very high revving. So it's a highway gear.
Yeah, it is very much so.
But it still breaks it loose.
Wow.
Like, I mean, you've seen the intro to my videos how many times? That wasn't even with the Pontiac engine. That was the 403. I have done one burnout with the 400 in it. And as soon as I got on it, the carburetor cut out and it died.
Oh, great.
That was on the 4th of July video from 2019.
Right.
Yeah, we got it fired up and running good enough. We got the transmission fixed in it finally. Took it out onto the Mexican back road, I should say, not the highway. Mexican back road, and went and goosed it past the camera, and it lit them up going past the camera. And then as soon as I got past the camera and let off the throttle, it died. It took us another 2 hours to get it up the hill of the driveway.
Oh.
Because it wouldn't fire back up. Because the battery died.
That sucks.
Oh yeah, it did. It absolutely sucked. It was completely dark. Because when I did the burnout, it was just like dusk.
Yeah.
So yeah, by the time we got it up the hill, it was pitch black. I mean, it's a great video. You should go watch it at some point.
That's on your channel?
Yeah.
What's it called? Wait, how long ago?
I told you, 2019.
Oh, 19. Okay. That's why I didn't see it.
No. Most of my content that I had on these cars is before most of the current viewers followed my channel.
Right.
So like Harvey and most of the other, Kat, you. Most of you guys were not following my channel back then.
Kat wasn't even following your channel back then?
Kat's only been following my channel for about a year and a half.
Oh, wow. I didn't know.
Maybe 2 years.
Yeah. Wow.
Neighbor had a mid-70s Firebird with a 425 with brake track. Yeah. Harvey, the guy that owned this engine before me originally had it built, threw it behind a manual transmission in his 74 TA. And with the gears that he had in the car, it would light him up in all 4 gears. Nice. Literally, if he got into it at all, it would break it loose. He then stuck an automatic transmission behind it and still could spin tires up through the first 2 gears. And so, like, he pulled the engine because he wanted something milder. He just wanted a cruiser. He wanted, whatever. So he pulled the engine.
I saw someone do a wicked peel in a Sunfire today at the junkyard.
Oh, wow.
And actually, that guy goes to my high school. So. That just reminds me.
The missing 2,995 subscribers.
Oh, that's pretty good, man.
I just passed 28,000.
28,000 what?
No, 2,800 subs.
Okay. Yeah. It's pretty good. I'm gonna go to KFC, so I'm gonna pick up this on my phone.
You're gonna ditch me, huh?
No, I'm gonna.
Oh, we're going for a field trip.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
All right. See you in a second.
So yeah, Harvey, we were talking about I know you've been following the pictures, so I got the dash completely hold on, let me snag this. Late dinner. Um so I got the dash completely ready to go back and get the wiring harness done. I pulled out the wiring harness for the dash, the new wiring harness, and I have it laid out. That was the last picture I took for Instagram. Um so that's about where I'm at. Fabbed up my own bezel for the back of the radio to fill in that hole and clean it up. Um, let's see. Actually got to see a 74 SD 455. Buddy got to do dirt downouts on the farm with it. If I could find a Super Duty 455, that would be freaking awesome. But right now, I'll deal with what I got. Eventually, I'd like to get a Butler bored and stroked engine for this car. Completely with the EFI setup on it. That's kind of the end goal for this car as far as engine upgrades. I don't really want to go much past that. I think 6 or 7 horsepower, 6 or 700 horsepower in one of these cars is more than enough. Butler is Pontiac's, is basically a Pontiac enthusiast engine performance company. Basically, all they do is deal with Pontiac engines. If you've heard of, shoot, what was his name? He's got the Crow. He races a street drag GTO. What's his name? Big something. Let's see if I can figure out what his name was. That's not the one I wanted to finish. He's from Street. Big Chief. Big Chief runs nothing but Butler engines. It's called Butler Performance. But yeah, all they specialize in is Pontiac engines. Just like my old Cadillac engine I used to have. You'd go to MTS, Maximum Torque Specialist, because that's all they dealt with was Cadillac engines, the big Cadillac engines. But yeah, if you want, they have a 455 block that they bore and stroke. So the block isn't an NOS block. It is a block that is based off of a stock Pontiac block. They do some improvements to it to fix some of the issues that the stock Pontiac blocks have. Did I see you drinking and driving? Is that what I saw?
I've been on here for how many seconds? Yes, obviously.
No, I think it was just your steering wheel going up across your face. But
You
anyway,
can't say
we're the Butler Performance blocks. It's 455. Well, they have 400s and 455s.
I'm doing down at 40. Shut up.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's all yours. I'll shut up.
Sorry, man. No, oh, jeez. I haven't got any content for you, so you better keep talking.
Anyway, so they have their block that they redo, that tries to alleviate some of the problems the stock block had, because they like to throw out the bottom end of the Pontiacs. And then they, like I said, they bore and they stroke it. kind of like the Steve Morrison of the Pontiac group. If you know who Steve Morrison is. Do you know who Steve Morrison is, Joseph? No? Can't hear us?
No, I lost you for a second there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, good.
So, do you know who Steve Morrison is?
I'm not going to even answer that question. I'm tired of hearing myself not know the damn names that I need to know, and I'm
You
just
don't
like,
need to know this. Just ask you a question. He's
no,
So
I don't.
you know who Cletus McFarlane is, right?
Of course.
Okay, you know Mullet.
Yes.
His Nardo Gray
Oh,
Elko.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
has a Steve Morrison engine in it. Now
Okay.
typically for his lower his I guess lower tier cars, he runs the Texas Speed engines.
All right.
His big block car, because that's not an LS. Steve Morris engines aren't LS engines. They're custom block big blocks.
Wow.
So big cubic inch.
Wow.
And anyway, so Steve Morrison does the big block engines, like Chevy based big block engines.
Yep.
They're not factory Chevys, they're billet aluminum, you know. But they're like
Sure.
over 600 cubic inches.
Okay.
Yeah, they're huge. They're absolutely fucking huge. Because I mean, it's not even like the thing. Okay, so like the Texas Speed engines, they're not small either. The Texas Speed engines that he runs are 427s. So what's in Ruby? What's in, so Ruby, Leroy, and Mullet used to run the 427 Texas Speed engines.
Yeah.
One of the last couple of times that he blew up Mullet, they swapped to the Steve Morris big block engines. In fact, Mullet just ran a 650. No, was it a 650 or 5? Yeah, no, it was like a 658 or 643. He just ran at the last event they were just at. It's absolutely insane, especially for a car that's still like a full bodied Elko.
Yeah.
It's still like an over 3,000 pound car.
Oh,
And it's running sixes.
that's insane.
I mean, Leroy is a stripped out, like, I think it's either a 5th or 6th gen Corvette.
Yeah.
It's like completely stripped out. I mean, there's nothing to it. It's a roll cage and a chassis. In fact, actually, it's not even less Corvette now, because the only thing that's still left on it that's Corvette is the main tub. The front half and the back half are completely fabbed. So from the firewall forward, there is nothing Corvette left. From the rear bulkhead backwards, there's nothing Corvette left either.
Right.
And obviously there's nothing inside of the body tub that's Corvette left either, except for the actual shell. So the front windshield, the firewall, and the floor, and the rear hoop. That's the only thing that's left in that car that's still Corvette.
Wow. Good riddance.
But anyway, okay, so that is a 427, and up until this last time used to be the rear transmission independent rear suspension that used to be from the stock car. It's now, front engine twin turbo with the manual transmission right up to the bell housing. So they got rid of that torque tube thing that they use in the Corvettes.
Yeah.
That just kind of connects the engine to the transmission in the back.
Yeah.
They got rid of that. So now it's running a standard, engine, transmission, drive shaft, rear end. And it's a solid rear end now. So they went back to, like traditional solid axle. Okay, so that car, completely stripped out manual car, was barely pushing 6 seconds. And that car weighs, I don't even know, it can't weigh very much. Corvettes themselves don't weigh very much.
Yeah.
And yeah, it
Uh,
to get a 30 some thousand pound full bodied Elko, complete with it's still got a bed in that truck, in that Elko. It's still got a bed.
yeah.
And
I love that.
they're pushing 6 seconds in that car. Like mid to low 6 seconds.
That's awesome.
That's just
That is-
insane. And it threatened to do another wheelie last weekend. So even with all the suspension trickery they have in that car to try to keep that car from pulling wheelies, it still wanted to pull a wheelie.
Right. Honestly, I mean, I don't care so much about power myself, but I swear, I don't know, I love cubic inches, and I'll tell you,
It's the sound. I mean, it's there's nothing that beats a big cubic inch engine sitting there just idling. Doesn't even have to. You don't even have to burp the throttle. Just sitting there idling. You take a you know, like a 305, 327, 350 Chevy, and you stick it next to a 454, and just let the two of them run, just at an idle, and you're just the big block's gonna put a smile on your face. You know,
absolutely.
it doesn't run really high RPMs. They don't like to scream. They just sit there and you know, it's the tortoise and the hare. It just sits there and it just goes. I mean, you can even hear it. So like when the difference between like we'll go back to Cletus because it's probably the most drag racing channel that I watch. You take the difference between, you know, the Corvette, not Ruby, the red Corvette.
Yeah.
Even though that technically is a big block, it's a 427.
Yeah.
But you listen to that thing go to the track and it screams. You listen to not Leroy, you listen to Mullet go down the track, and it acts like it's not even trying. You hear it go down the track, and that engine doesn't even sound like it's even got a care in the world. It's just like, hey, this is a Sunday drive.
That's exactly my problem with this whole philosophy about putting four cylinders in Silverados. Is I mean, they're claiming that they're doing it for fuel economy, but I'd much rather have like a 500 cubic inch caddy motor idle down the number one highway than to have a four cylinder screaming at 7,500 RPM trying to keep it going.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is with the big blocks, I mean, that's another reason why they didn't have to run, you know, 6 and 7 and 8 speed transmissions back then, because these big engines had the torque to be able to just pull themselves out of wherever they needed to be. You know, these modern engines, yeah, they've got horsepower, but they're losing torque.
Yep.
And torque, especially in a truck, is what gets the work done.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Because like, so I have the 360 in my Ram. It's obviously the bigger of the two gasoline engines that was offered in those trucks.
Yep.
Then all the other biggest was the 360 diesel.
Right.
Which
did they? 360. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a diesel. It's about the same cubic inches as the gasoline engine. It makes a little bit more torque.
Yep. 5.9 Cummins.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's about the only, you know, I would love a diesel truck, but diesel is expensive, even though you get better fuel mileage with it. But diesel trucks themselves are stupid expensive. Freaking same truck, 2001 Ram 1500 360 gas truck versus a 2001 360 diesel. The diesel's almost twice the cost of the gas truck.
Absolutely, it is. I agree.
I honestly don't think that the value is actually, you know, worth the double the price. You know, the truck's still going to rot itself apart around the engine anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's see. Harvey says something about mixture of efficiency at high velocity and a smaller engine makes better emissions. I guess. Don't really care.
Um,
Diesel here is over $2 a liter. I don't know what the way you guys measure stuff, because I think even your gallons are different than our gallons, isn't it?
well, they've got imperial and U.S. gallons. Yes, I don't know what the hell the difference is, but yeah, we measure in liters only, which is nice because there's only 1 liter, so that's nice.
Yeah, our gas right now is creeping back up to $4 a gallon. I
Okay, I
think
gotta think this. I'm going through a drive-through.
okay. So yeah, our gas is around creeping up to $4 a gallon. Our diesel is definitely over $4 a gallon. So, yeah, I don't know. Don't know what they're doing, but I think it's ridiculous. But personally, I think it's a plot to get everybody to want to switch to electric because gas is too high. I mean, what better way to get people to switch over to electric cars on their own volition than to make driving gas cars intolerable? Oh. Where is everybody at today? God, it's not even 10 o'clock yet, so maybe people show up after 10. Let's see. We went through the TA, getting ready to do the wiring. Started talking about, I don't even know. Oh, what are you up to, Harvey? Mm. Oh shit, that is 20 some minutes behind. Well, at least the stream health is good. I don't know why my preview does that. It flags so far behind my regular video. Saturday is my day. I was up way too freaking early. True, but unless the electric cars are feeding the grid, we don't produce enough. Well, yeah. That's why they keep wanting everybody to put solar panels on their house, because a house with solar panels will make more power than the people inside of it can use. So they actually the electric companies end up paying you for your electricity that your house is producing, which is kind of funny. That sucks, Harvey. I had my own bout with that, and it wasn't fun. I mean, obviously it didn't kill me, but it wasn't fun. I mean, it just like a freaking flu that just likes to not want to go away. Are we done getting food there, Mr. Mechanic?
Yes,
I love how you haven't changed your name back.
I did. What are you talking about?
Your name is not Teen Mechanic. I
It's
changed it.
Team Two Mechanic.
Yeah.
What?
That's actually Jesse's doing. Um, yeah,
What do you mean?
it was in the chat the one day. He said that you should change your channel from, like, when we were talking about maybe vlogging the stuff you were doing at school or
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever. He said that you should
yeah.
change your YouTube channel from teen to mechanic.
Huh,
In other words, like
interesting.
the journey from being a teen to what I'm guessing is your end goal is to be a technician, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely.
that kind of would give your channel a goal and a direction, you know.
Team Two Mechanic. Interesting. Maybe
It's
that's something that I ought to do after I'm an old fart and I'm
no,
20 years old.
Well, no. If 20 is an old fart, I'm gonna get
You are
offended.
ancient, my friend.
I am twice that age.
You're 40?
39.
Oh, that's nothing. You're still a young
Yeah, till
ne'er-do-well.
next year. Till 6 months from now.
Yeah.
Till 6 months
Yeah.
from now. Then I'll be dinosaur poop.
Why is it that everybody that's an adult friend of mine is 39 going on 40?
I have no idea because
Like,
baby boom, because that's
mhm.
there's a high birth rate
Well,
maybe that year.
you are 39. My good friend Doug is 39. My mechanics instructor, who seems like he's in his late 40s because he's just an intelligent guy, is 39. And yeah, I don't know why that's such a trend, but it seems to be.
Yeah. Harvey says Harvey's dealing with COVID in his house.
Well, that's
He
not
says
good.
it feels like a slasher flick. He goes, "Who's next?" It just rolls through It rolls through. It just somebody's gonna either you got it and didn't show any symptoms because your body fought it off and you passed it on to somebody else, or you got it and it completely wrecked you.
Yeah, yeah. Not
Um,
much in between.
he also said, Kentucky Ducky, ew for me. In other words, you went to KFC. I used to love KFC. I
Mm-hmm.
worked at a KFC. I am now boycotting KFC because they got rid of their wedges. And they changed a bunch of other shit. Now they're just like every other fucking restaurant out there, instead of being a unique place.
This provides no endorsement to KFC whatsoever. I just felt like having it, considering the fact that I haven't in a very long time.
The last time I was at KFC, I was so freaking disappointed. Their chicken did not taste the same. They didn't have
Yep.
the wedges. They had regular freaking stupid fries. If I want
Yep.
regular stupid fries, I got places that make better fries than KFC does.
Yeah,
Um,
dude.
the reason you went to, when I worked there, we had people that came up just to buy the wedges, not even the freaking chicken. They'd have the rest of dinner at home, and they come to buy the wedges and take them home for their dinner
Mm-hmm.
to add to their already cooked dinner.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the wedges is, that was kind of their thing. I don't know why it's like every single company in the world has to try to be like their competitor. It's like, no,
Yep.
be yourself. That's why we come to you. If
Yep.
we wanted your competitors' food at your establishment, well, we would go to your competitors.
Mm-hmm.
And I go to KFC because I liked the breading on their chicken, and I like their wedges.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you change the breading to be a generic frickin' breading and you change your wedges to frickin' generic French fries, I have no reason to go to you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing with like Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and freaking whatever. Be your own niche. It's okay to not be like everyone else because that's what people like. I don't, it's, what was it? Last year, everybody wanted to be like TikTok. They all wanted to do the freaking shorts and the reels and the freaking, they all called it different things, but in the end of the day, it's all like Vine. They're all short, freaking quick videos because people have no attention span.
That's very true.
But it's like, that was TikTok's thing. Now apparently TikTok is trying to be like, what is it, Instagram or something?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's ridiculous.
When did they get rid of those wedges in the U.S.?
Like right around when COVID hit.
Oh, okay. We lost them. We lost them first then.
Yeah, it's been like 2 or 3 years that we haven't had them.
Too bad. It's probably been closer to 5 or 6. I think we lost them in like 2016 or 17.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
But it's stupid because it's like, that was what your thing was. It was, your crispy and original recipe freaking breading, and your wedges.
Absolutely.
And you get rid of both of those, and then you're like, what do you got? At that point, Boston Market makes better chicken than you do.
Mm-hmm.
Or actually, I like Bojangles chicken. Which I don't think you guys have Bojangles up there, do you?
Nope.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like about Bojangles is their sides. Their chicken is really good.
Is that a restaurant?
Yeah. It's kind of like a KFC.
Hmm.
You know, fried chicken, French fries, Southern style sides, green beans, mashed potatoes, coleslaw, mac and cheese, They have rice,
Yeah.
I think, too, which I don't think KFC does.
Very southern.
Um, yeah, Harvey, I don't know what it is with with YouTube. I mean, um, even my thing is well over 7 minutes behind. Like if you've ever gone live, there's a little studio thing that pops up that shows what you're displaying, your stats and all of that. My preview screen is 7 minutes behind. It was like 25 minutes behind. I don't know, it just constantly buffers, but I don't understand it because like it's only running at 360p. I can kick it down to 240. I mean, it's just a preview screen, so I don't need it to be. But it's weird. It's like, why?
Yeah.
Why is it continuing to buffer? I don't know if it's a continuous thing with all of YouTube. Not, I mean, I thought it was because I wasn't streaming in a high enough quality.
Right.
Because you have to send a certain amount of like bits per second, and mine was capped at like 35 and it was looking for 45, so I capped it at like 4850.
Yeah.
And it's running 48 kilobits a second right now at 60 frames a second. It's had zero drop frames, and my CPU's only running at like 2.7%. My computer's barely even working.
You don't have to brag. Oh crap! I forgot gravy.
I yell at Adam and Deb every time they do Thanksgiving because they always forget to make gravy. It's like, how can you have mashed potatoes if you don't have gravy? How do you turkey without gravy?
These fries right here. Nothing.
They look like McDonald's
nothing.
fries. Those are even
What?
smaller than the ones we have. Because the ones that KFC has are like thicker. They're more like you would consider like well, maybe they're a little thicker. I don't know. They look a little thin compared to what KFC does down here.
Mr. High Beans. Come on now.
Let's see. Boss bought in 2 F bodies this week, both 90s, Trans Am with a dead automatic and a Z28 with a 6-speed. The 6-speed is going in the TA. Both West Coast cars, impeccable bodies. Yeah, do they have the F body freaking fuel tank fucking mod? I want like 98 2002 Trans Am, but I will literally walk away from a car that has the fuel tank mod.
What's that?
Where they cut the fucking hole in the trunk floor to access the top of the fuel tank.
Yeah.
I'll walk away from a car like that. I'll not.
Well,
I won't buy it.
It just shows a bunch of neglect.
No,
Or negligence, rather.
It's a time-saving hack. Instead of dropping, because in those cars to get the fuel tank out, you have to drop the rear end. You have to drop the rear end, and then you can pull the whatever. And people don't want to freaking do it, so they'll take a grinder to it for 5 minutes and access the top of it that way. Which, okay, fine, yes, there's cars out there that literally have that from the factory. But and they also have things in place like seals and stuff to prevent the fumes and possible fire from entering the car through that freaking same opening.
Yeah. Oh yeah, hang on, I'm going to the drive-thru again.
You go get gravy?
Yes.
I can't believe you got to ask for gravy. I thought gravy was the thing that they're supposed to send with the mashed potatoes. You didn't get mashed potatoes, did you? Oh, so yeah, if you got mashed potatoes, they automatically give you gravy. Or at least they do it in here in the States. supposed to eat chicken, which means it takes you longer to chew. There it is. So I don't know if there's a special event going on today that nobody's showing up today, but I figured just in case nobody showed up, I had 25 interesting car facts I bet you didn't know. So we'll wait for Teen Mechanic to come back from getting his gravy. Yeah, looking at you. And we'll go over this list. I need to adjust that because you can't even see the fact of. There we go. I don't know if I changed something or what, but I think I might have changed that outside diameter window. Hello, you back? You get your gravy?
Hello. Oh, what's going on here? This Mazda, I swear,
What's
I've
your
been
other?
driving around. It's got some little props keys.
So it's not like that nice one that you just basically gave away.
Gave away. I made a $3,200 profit on that sucker.
Yeah, but you then bought a freaking Crown Vic that was a piece of junk.
No, actually, there, sir, you're mistaken.
Oh, wait, no, you bought the truck, didn't you?
Yes. Absolutely, I did.
Which was a hunk of junk.
Absolutely not. Do you know I towed 7,000 pounds with that 5,000-pound bumper ball all the way back from Bragg Creek to Calgary to save someone's car?
And how much did you sell that truck for?
$1,800. I made $200 on it.
Well, I guess, yeah, then that's worth it. And you even had that whole skit on our channel where you were stuffing weird shit in a freaking Rust Bowl.
Oh, that was good. That was my favorite.
Good. That was good. That was a fucking moment. Is it possible to cut a plate from a donor car and make a proper? Yeah, anything is possible. But I just don't want it. I mean, it's not a thing where it's necessarily wrong. I mean, yeah, it's laziness. To me, it's laziness. You know, whether or not people said, well, they should have had that from the factory. No, because it doesn't need to be. I mean, I guess it's not super fucking hard to drop the rears out of those cars.
No, but it is a very large inconvenience because if you're not experienced, if you're the type of guy who's going to take a grinder to a car in the first place,
You're not shops to do it. I've known shops to do it. I've known shops to do it in modern Camaros, like 2009 and newers.
Yeah, that's stupid. A shop does it. You ought to run away.
You need Cat's Ruck. Harvey's saying you need to buy Cat's Ruck and use that for towing. First off, that Ruck needs towing.
I just listed this Mazda for sale today, just because it's the weekend and I wanted to see what would happen before I fix everything. I just thought, hey,
let's see if you can get money. See if you can get your money back before you've even fixed anything.
Yeah,
A true turnaround and flip.
I know I'll get my money back, but this car is far gone. It's far enough gone that it's like I need to find something more flippable, so I'm gonna just get out of this one.
Yeah.
But I also got to drive it. So, hey.
There you go. You saved your money in gas.
Yeah, actually, this one is, for some reason, and it is the same motor, same trans, 2-liter, as my red Mazda, but it seems to be like getting like 5 miles a gallon worse.
Well, yeah, it's probably your little problems.
No.
No, it couldn't be. You know, engines don't get good gas mileage when they run good.
Yeah, that's true.
They get better
Actually,
gas mileage when they run like shit.
very true, because the oil that's in the combustion chamber lubricates the fuel flow. So that's why
Mm.
your fuel is so efficiently able to move through the package.
It doesn't kill the combustion ratio, so that way it makes produces less horsepower, which means the engine
Oh,
has to work harder to achieve the same goal, which means that to work harder it's going to need more air and fuel.
that's wrong. Yeah, absolutely. You're right. This guy's doing like 55 clicks. He's doing like 35 miles an hour from the street
Wait, you
down the
measure
parking lot.
you measure your speeds in miles an hour.
No, I'm doing that for you.
Oh, so you actually did the conversion right there in your top of your head.
Well, I'm very fluent in both languages because I drive a lot of old ass cars. So
I love it when you're on a back road and you're already doing like 5 to 10 miles an hour over the posted limit, and you
mm,
got this other person that's crawling so far up your ass because they're just itching to go even faster than that. And I don't know what the topography is in your area, but I keep saying I live in a very hilly, mountainous. The only straight roads we have are the highways.
yep,
Anything that's a back road is twisting in and out of people's properties, along with following like the slopes of the mountain. So like
uses a land in someone's living room.
the road is dictated by the topography that it's on.
Hmm.
They don't just make roads just to get from point A to point B. Point A to point B is like taking a thing of rope, throwing it up in the air, and however it lands is the way that the road turns. It may only be 4 miles from here to the next town, but the road might be 8 or 9.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So and when you're already doing like 55, 60 on a twisty back road, and they want to go faster, it's like, what is your rush? Do you want to meet death that much quicker? I
Absolutely.
mean, I drive. Don't get me wrong. I like to drive quickly, my own pleasure, not necessarily because I'm in a rush, unless I'm trying to get to work and not be late because I'm running late. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, for no most of the time, if I'm going quickly, it's only because I enjoy it, not because I need to. So if I come upon traffic that's going slower, I have no problem slowing down to their speed.
I do.
I don't crowd them to make them feel like they should be going faster, especially when they're already doing over the posted speed limit.
That's true. I don't do that.
It doesn't make any
Uh,
sense.
when someone is doing, I mean, unless you bring fast lane into the equation, that's when I lose my mind.
Oh, when you are not passing anybody in the fast lane, or you're going slower than the slow lane, yeah, that's infuriating. Get the fuck over. Now, that doesn't mean like if you're on like a two on a 2 lane street road. So
Yeah,
there's a difference between a highway versus a 2 lane like surface road. Surface
absolutely.
road is like
Because
through
you
towns or
can,
whatever.
yeah.
Those 2 lanes in a surface road, they're to improve flow of traffic so that way people turning onto the road have their own lane. So if you're coming
Hmm.
on from the far side, you have your near lane. If you're turning on from the near side, you have your own lane to turn on or to turn off.
Hmm.
That's just so that way flow of traffic stays. There's no fast or slow lane through those roads. And
Hmm.
I hate it when people are coming like, let's say you're sitting in an intersection and the road you're trying to turn onto has 2 lanes.
Hmm.
When the person across from you, if you're trying to make a right, the person across from you, instead of picking the lane closest to them, goes all the way into the far lane for them. It's like, why? You have your lane to get into so that way we can both go through the intersection at the same time. Instead of me having to wait for you to come in and then me go. That's why there's 2 lanes there. So you can go at the same time I can, so the most amount of traffic can get through the intersection at the
Yeah.
traffic light.
Actually, here if you are turn, if you are on the farthest left side of your lane making a left turn to go on a two-way street, and you're on the opposing side of the road making a right-hand turn, you as the left-hand turner must turn into the lane closest to the curb when you're turning left. So you are hugging that corner, so you're not doing what you're describing. But I still, and that's
You should
the
be
law.
turning on in America. You're supposed to turn into the nearest lane to your side of your side of the road. So, I don't have anything to let me pull up a picture of a road.
That's the same thing here. I know exactly what you mean. If you, well, actually, the best way to describe it is if you're on a road and in the left-hand lane making a left turn,
Oh,
you must
this is
turn
not
into the left-hand
if
lane.
this is not just freaking per. No, that's a single. All right. Let's see. There, this one will work. Open into a new tab. There we go. Okay, so is it present? Yeah, they sent it. They changed it to present. Chrome tab, that one. Okay, so let's say you're this car right here.
Yep.
In the U.S., you're supposed to turn into this lane. Now, if this lane is also a turning lane, this lane should turn into that lane. But most of the time in the US, this lane is for going straight. This lane is for straight and to turn, whatever. This lane normally, okay, this lane here is normally for straight or left-hand turns. This lane here is for straight or right-hand turns.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're in this lane across from you, okay, they should go into this lane.
Mm-hmm.
My annoyance is when they decide to come from this lane and go into this lane.
That's illegal.
And they will do it here in the US all the fucking time because it's not it's not monitored, I guess.
Oh, it's
And
monitored here.
the people in the US just assume that you should always be in the left-hand lane or right-hand lane. And so they'll automatically go into the right-hand lane. When you're on a surface street, there is no fast or slow lane when it comes to double lanes.
Yep.
It's a turn off. It's to increase the flow of traffic through an area.
I know what you mean. Well, you know what? That if a cop, okay, so let me ask you, if a cop saw you do that in the United States, turn the way you hate, what would
if
they
it
do?
if it
Is that
caused
enforceable?
if there was nobody there, like say that this person was over here, there was nobody trying to also make a turn over here, and that person, they wouldn't do a damn thing
Oh
because
wow,
it's not impeding the flow of traffic,
well, that's crazy.
which is why people get away with it all the time.
Yeah, you get a big fat ticket if you do that here. You're not allowed to. You're not allowed to do that.
Oh, I wish people got that here because what's also annoying is when you're like approaching a merge point, right?
Yeah.
And it's a construction zone, and they like start telling you, "Hey, there's a merge in, I don't know, a mile and a half up or whatever," and then everybody like a mile before the merge decides to all go in the one fucking lane, and if you try to go up to the merge point, they start blocking half the lane, so you can't pass them.
Right.
It's like, no, the whole point of the merge point is you're supposed to be two lanes all the way up to the merge point, and then, one person goes, the next person, left, right, left, right, left, right, merging into one lane. But everybody gets freaking greedy and doesn't want somebody else to pass them or think that somebody's getting ahead of them, and everybody merges into one spot. And then instead of you having a backup that's, a quarter mile long, you get a backup that's like 3-4 miles long because everybody wants to get in a fucking single lane and nobody wants to let anybody get up to the merge point to pass. And then if you get up to the merge point, then people don't want to let you in. Because, God forbid you get ahead of them or whatever. You know, like if you would just stop being a dickhead and let everybody merge left, right, that whole flow through that intersection would go a hell of a lot faster.
Absolutely, it was.
And then
I know what you
all of you would get through the intersection quicker.
Yep. Yeah.
And all of the intersections that you're clogging up behind that intersection because of the fact that, instead of having two shorter lanes, you now have one giant long lane. Those intersections would flow a lot better.
Yep.
It's just ridiculous.
Right.
Must be a Calgary thing. Edmonton people drive like Taz describes.
Who?
Harvey
What?
saying that people in Edmonton drive like I was talking about, and that
Yeah.
people in Calgary apparently drive like you're talking about.
Yes.
Zipper merge. Nobody wants to do that here without a personal invitation from a police officer. Yeah, and the thing is, it's a so much more efficient method of merging.
Yeah.
Just have the common courtesy and let the person know next to you in. You'll both get through a lot faster than if you sit there and play freaking, I don't know, bully and block the space. You don't have to let 20 people in front of you. Just let one. The person behind you should let one in. And the whole process would go so much smoother.
Yep. Right.
But everybody's so selfish and so self-centered that it won't fucking work because people won't let it work.
Well, you know what? I mean, it's a big risk. I mean, the reason it's outlawed here is because the big risk is if someone is turning right and you bash right into them because you're deciding that you want to swipe right over one lane.
I totally agree with you. That's what makes me so infuriated about it, is because I've been in the city and I have had to, instead of me being able to just make my turn, I have to sit there and wait for the person across from me to start to make sure that they're going to go in their freaking lane so I don't start to make my turn and they run into the side of me. I've had people almost run into the side of me and then give me a dirty look like I was doing something wrong. Like I was supposed to wait for them to turn into my lane. No, you have your own lane to turn into. Turn into your lane.
That's why it should actually be a formal law in case something did happen. I mean, you have to be able to go to court and say, hey, it's actually this dumbass fault.
It's in, let me see if I can find it. It is in our, like PennDOT freaking, PennDOT is Pennsylvania Department of Transportation. It's in our learning manual to get your license.
Exhaust sounds terrible.
On that car. Okay, I got a PDF.
Through those gears, man.
I'm gonna download it here in a second. But yeah, it's in our thing that it's what you're supposed to do, but it's not enforced.
Well, that's crazy to me.
Let's see. Pavement markings, lane use control.
I need ice cream.
You need ice cream. I had a strawberry frosty this earlier. Turning, merging, and passing, page 45.
Do you hear this damn thing?
Do what?
Do you hear this damn thing?
It's loud. It's not like nice loud.
No, it's not. It's stupid. Like, he cut the exhaust off because it sounds lit. No, it's actually
stand the
so
sound.
loud. Walk across the street. Don't even worry. Don't even worry. That was close. Those people are wearing all freaking black, just crossing the
There
street.
you go. Turning and merging and passing. Here, let me.
That's where they're all drunk. That's why they're getting into a cab. They're all drunk. Okay.
That'll explain it.
I would have actually ran them over. That was crazy close. Holy crap.
Oh, like my NOVAtazz Customs isn't covering the stupid fucking duck because of the way that the screen changes when I go into the share screen mode.
Yeah.
StreamYard updated their crop, and now it changes the way that the screen is positioned whenever you go into the thing because it puts a little drop down menu at the top, which messes with my screen cropping.
Right.
And it just throws off everything. So now you can see like parts of my screen that you don't normally used to see because I crop it out when I
What's that open tab there? Oh boy, that's keep it family friendly, man.
There is nothing open on this computer that is not friendly. Shut up.
Just kidding. Just hilarious.
All right. Anyway, so on a 2-lane, 2-way streets or highways, make the left turns from the close to the center line as possible, and make your right turns from as close to the right edge of the roadway as possible. So yeah, turning left onto a multiple lane street highway, start from the left lane you are turning. If you are turning right, start from the right lane. If you are turning into the highway, which is more than one lane in the direction you wish to travel, turn to the closest lane going in that direction. Turn into the left lane when making a left turn, and turn into the right lane when you were making a right turn. So, like, yeah, it's like, it tells you right there you're supposed to. But
now, is that state law or provincial, or is that state law or federal law?
that is the Pennsylvania state driving thing. I don't think see the way United States works. There's not, most of the stuff is state law.
Yeah.
Because
everything is provincial.
In the United States they have a thing of states to govern themselves. There are a few federal laws that govern the whole country, but most laws are based at the state level, and sometimes even the county level before that.
Yeah. The only reason I was asking is because he kept saying the U.S., and I figured it was everything here is provincial. Like everything is provincial when it comes to, especially when it comes to traffic and transportation.
Hold on, I gotta turn down my speakers because I think
seriously, because BC, one province over, is just, you can't get anything done in that province, man. You have to have so much documentation just to sell a car. And I'm sure that's the case in most of the states too. But
actually no,
Alberta,
down here it's nothing. You take in Pennsylvania, which in some states it's even less. You only need a bill of sale. In Pennsylvania, you need to have a title, a signed title from the previous owner. The previous owner has to be there. You can't just take a title with their signature and take it into the DMV. You have to have the previous owner present, or at least whoever is like, let's say somebody is not able to be there, but they have somebody taking care of their affairs for them. That's different. But anyway, so let's say you need the owner that's on the title, or whoever is in charge of their property.
Yeah.
You have to have the title. You have to have, like I said, the owner, the title, the buyer has to be there, and they have to know the amount that the car was sold for, because you get taxed. There's a certain tax for that goes into the title. And you go to the DMV or the notary, and you sign each sign the title. So the previous owner will sign the title under giving and the new owner will sign the title, and then the old owner is done. They're done. Then there's paperwork for the new owner, getting the registration, the license plate, and proof of insurance and all of that stuff. In some states, like Harvey said, there's no title. It's only a bill of sale. Their cars don't have titles.
Yeah.
Which sucks when you're trying to buy those cars and bringing them into the Pennsylvania, because every car has to have a title.
So you have to get a car titled.
Yes. And if you're in PA and you buy a car outside of PA, you have to at least have the original, like, pink slip or whatever that would come from the dealer.
Wow.
To be able to convert it into a PA title.
That's crazy.
So it's hard. It's like if you're in PA and you're just transferring another car from PA to PA resident, it's easy.
Yeah.
It takes 15, 20 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
right? And most people go in there, and if you know the seller, a lot of people go in there and they'll obviously say that they bought the car for less. You know, the
Yep.
car's in bad condition. We sold it cheap. Da 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 da. Whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
Because nope. You know, you're selling a car to somebody. You don't want them to pay out the ass in fucking taxes that don't fucking mean shit. It's not like,
Yeah.
you know, the seller's getting the taxes or whatever. It's just the fucking government making money off of a transaction.
Mhm.
So, you know, whether you're selling it friends and family or the car is in bad shape, but you come up with some excuse.
So what would happen? What would happen if you walked in there and told them you bought it for $1 or $5? Would they take that or no?
It depends. I mean, they can literally make you prove it. That's why you don't say it's only $1. I mean, unless you're saying you're giving to your son, or you know, you gave it to your best friend. You know, whatever. You know, they're not gonna believe a random stranger is only gonna buy a vehicle for $1.
That's what I mean.
You normally do like a couple hundred, maybe like $400. You know, I bought it because we're scrapping it. Huh?
Mhm. Are you allowed to sell it to a family member for $1? Are you actually allowed to do that?
You can. You can give it to them for free. You can literally tell them, yeah, I gave it to them as a gift. You know? Yeah, private sales here in PA do still have a tax. You get the tax when you transfer title. Yeah, we don't do that, the black book value of a vehicle, because how are you supposed to determine the value of a vehicle depending on if it's not new? Because, you know, what if it's got no engine? What if it's got, you know, it's been sitting up on fucking jack stands in somebody's backyard for the last 10 years? It's been in an accident. It's been totaled. You know, you're buying it for parts, or you're buying to restore it. You know, it's. I mean, technically, the gray Nova I bought, I have the title, but the person I bought it from wasn't signed on the title. The previous owner before him was on the title, so he bought it as a parts car. So he had no intention of turning around and selling it as a vehicle to go on the road again. And really, I'm only using the body. The rest of the cars, it's got a rolling front end and a rolling rear end, but it's not what's staying in the car.
Let me ask you: does so the previous owner that has to sign things, is there any way that you have to actually prove that they were the last owner, or like do they have to be the last registered owner?
Well, you got to think. Okay, so the person that's on the title, that's the person that needs to be there to sign that title over.
Right.
So regardless of whoever owned the car, that's the person that needs to be there, is that person. So, I mean, I don't know how you're going to prove, you know, if the person is John Doe and Jack Smith is the one that walks in, Jack Smith has nothing to do with it, even if he's the one that sold you the car. Because he's not the one that's titled ownership.
Yeah. I know.
He bought it bill of sale, not titled.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
So that's be like somebody, you know, obviously selling you a gun. They weren't the registered, you know, they weren't the last registered owner of the gun, but they sold you the gun. You know, it's like, it's a bill of sale. It's a, you know, you may have lost who the original owner was at some point, whether they passed away or whatever. It just becomes more of a pain in the ass. You got to jump through a bunch of hoops to get that car titled if you can't get a hold of the owner on the title. Even if you can prove you bought it.
Yeah, that is a huge pain in the ass. Like, okay, have you ever been walked through how you buy a vehicle here in Alberta?
No.
Do you actually know how it works?
Nope.
Okay. Let me explain it to you. Get comfy.
I'm sitting in a freaking crappy Walmart freaking desk chair that literally has no padding, and I can't get it to stay up because the cylinder keeps leaking and drops me back down to the ground.
That is sufficient.
Okay.
So, do you own a printer? Great. So what you do is you
What if I
go
don't?
online,
What if
even
I-
if it's a JPEG image of one, that's fine as long as it's 8.5 by 11. Print out a bill of sale. You type in whatever you want.
I can't even just write a bill of sale. I have to print one.
No, you can write one.
Because
You
we do
can
that here. We
absolutely
just
write.
write it. I am selling such and such vehicle, VIN number, to so and so for X
I'm
amount of
talking
money
about
as
how
is.
I'm talking about the
How does
provincial
one get a
mandated.
title for a
Yeah.
vehicle if lost? That's another fun thing.
Well,
Because
if
I
what?
have to do that with my Nova because I don't have my original title for my Nova. I don't know where it's at.
Yeah, that's not good.
That car hasn't been on the road since 2013.
Uh-huh.
I've been to 4 different homes since then, moved 4 times,
Mm.
went through 3 different relationships in that time.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, so God knows where that is.
Well, yeah, so that's completely a headache that you don't have to have here because you can write it on a napkin if you want. You can write whatever you'd like. I mean, that's the thing is if you found a Model T in someone's field and you should probably find a way to verify whether the owner has died or not.
Did I ever tell you about
But
the
if you,
Cadillac that I found in a freaking abandoned freaking property?
yes, you did. And that's actually what I was thinking of in my mind when I was just about to
That's the
say this.
reason I don't have it is because of the proof of trying to get through to freaking claim it.
Well, yeah, because that's the thing. You don't have to have that here. It's so easy to just commandeer a vehicle and say, "Hey, look, this one's been sitting here for 50 years, and the owner I think is dead." And then you just sign a bill of sale over from blah 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 to yourself, and you come up with a name if you want.
Blah blah blah.
And
I like that name.
yeah, exactly. And you make a fake signature. It can say whatever you want. It could say Sharp Microwave Radio Combo. It doesn't matter. And yeah, and then take it to a registry, and they will register it for you. It does not matter. You don't. The only caveat is if it has a salvage title or whatever. That's it. If it
Yeah,
has a
your
salvage,
guys' issue to get a car back on the road when it hasn't been on the road is ridiculous.
well, that's the thing. When I mean, that's that we
Like
can do whatever we
literally,
want.
if I have my car off the road and it's been whatevered, and I want to go take it and go get it back on the road, I take it in
Yep.
for a regular inspection. If it passes
Oh.
the inspection, just like every other, even if it's a car that I have every year, because up here cars have to go get inspected every year. So even if it's a car that I take that I had forever, it passes
Yep.
the same inspection as a car that I just put back on the road. I mean, unless it's been in an accident.
Yeah.
Then it goes. They're gonna look more at the frame and stuff like that. It's gotta pass stuff for frame, but it doesn't have to pass. I heard some of the stringencies that your guys' cars have to pass, and it's absolutely ridiculous. Like that has to
Ours?
be better than new. Yeah, Kat was saying.
Okay, yeah. What she meant by that, I believe, was out of province / salvage inspections. They're very, very similar caliber. The out of province inspections and salvage, I mean, if a vehicle has been salvaged, and out of province, it's literally the same criteria. If you, you have to have images of the accident during the repairs of the accident
What if
and
you weren't the one that
film
owned it when it
product.
was wrecked?
What?
What if you didn't own it when it was wrecked? How are you supposed to have those pictures?
No, that's the same thing. You have to buy the vehicle. Like, oh, no. I'm talking about if you're doing the inspection yourself.
Oh.
And odds are you own it. Because if you buy it and it's already rebuilt status, then no, who cares?
I found the
Your
pictures
insurance
of.
company might ask for pictures. That's dependent on the insurance, though. But provincial law, yeah, it has to be pretty much brand new. Like,
That's
it has to be
ridiculous.
pretty much new.
Most of the cars in PA would never pass.
No, I know. But dang it. Oh.
Don't die on me.
Sorry, the thing is here, if you but in terms of there's something called a 12-year inspection, and that is not a provincial thing. The registry is not like a DMV. Let me tell you that. The registry is just there to put it in the books. They don't care about how much you paid. They don't care about inspections unless it's out of province, but that's something else. They don't care about how much you paid. They don't care about who owned it last. They don't care about any of that. As long as the VIN is there and there are 2 people listed on a piece of paper that say they sold it, great. But they don't care. They're just there to enter it into the government database. That's
Harvey
it.
says, I am licensed to do out-of-province inspections, and salvage inspections are more intense. Insurance inspection is a joke.
Yeah, well, insurance inspections, you can find a guy on Kijiji who won't charge you if it fails. And that's like $50. Yeah, you can find anyone who's a
Well, we
licensed
have to have we have two
registered.
types of inspections every year, depending on where you're at, PA.
Yeah, well, what
If
are
you're
your
in
inspections like?
in a place of certain population, if you're below that population mark, your county is exempt from emissions, which my county I'm in right now does not have to pass emissions. So I don't have to pass an emissions test.
Perfect.
If you are above a certain population level, you have to pass both an inspection and an emissions test. Which they basically look at tires, brakes, leaks, and whatever stuff like that. It's not like, sharp objects on the outside of the car that could catch somebody passing by, stupid shit like that. Like, if you're close enough to my car to catch yourself on it when I'm going by, then you're way too fucking close to my car.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's whatever. But it's every year.
Right.
But yeah. By the way, I found those pictures from that abandoned garage. I'm gonna display them.
Actually, and now that I think about it, I guess I got some bad information. Back when I owned my first car, my Pontiac Grand Prix, I was told that out-of-province and salvage inspections are nearly the same. But actually, I got to be careful spewing that information then, because I got some bad
sitting here telling
information.
you as an inspector that you're wrong.
Well, that's the thing. That's why I have to be
Hey,
careful with what I say then, because it's been a long while since I've had that car, and I really should be careful with how much confidence I have behind that, because. But
Grim,
all I
you
know
are
is
such a liar.
both of those inspections are very intense. All I know is that. It's not like the out of province is much easier. But
Right.
I thought that I think if you're licensed to do salvage, you can do out of province, but not vice versa. I don't know. I forget. Anyway, put those pictures back up.
I was gonna say before I do that, remember I was talking about them subscribers that I had from before. One of them just popped in. Grimm's Auto Sales. In fact, I have a bunch of his merch. I don't know where the hell it ended up. I do have his T-shirt still, but he had like a towel and a hat and gave me all kinds of cool stuff. He stopped posting for a while. I saw he just started posting videos again, or at least I just started noticing them. He goes, hey guys, first time caller, long time listener. He used to be in my live streams in the chat a lot back in like 2017, 2018. So I haven't seen him in a while, but he's not a first time caller. He's bullshitting. He's been on a hiatus for a long time.
Yeah, so
most of the cars he works on wouldn't pass any inspection, right? We only make them look like they pass inspection here in PA. Anyway, this was one of the things that was in that garage. That's freaking neat. It's an old pedal car.
Wow, that's super cool.
This is the caddy. So
yeah, that's the caddy.
It didn't have a whole lot of room, so I was kind of this car was kind of wedged in there, so there wasn't a whole lot of room to get, and it was completely pitch black in there. If it wasn't for other people's cell phone lights, these pictures wouldn't exist.
Wow. Well, that's the car I care about. That's the one I really like.
This is. It was all pitch black in here.
Well, let me turn my camera on.
It's nice. Convertible. That top is absolutely freaking gorgeous. What are we looking at? We're looking at the side of a toolbox.
Yeah, no, I'm in the garage now.
Yeah, you trying to steal my show here by showing other?
No, I'm not. I just came in here.
I thought it was yours.
What?
I could have sworn it was Grimm's Auto Sales way back when, because that logo looks really familiar. I don't know. Maybe it was somebody else. Maybe it was Gear Driven. I don't know. Or maybe I might be confusing you with somebody else. But yeah, here's the side of the Cadillac. I think it was a 40s, like a 48 or 49.
Late 40s, you sure?
I don't know. It's been so freaking long since we looked up the information on this car. I mean, look at the inside of this top. There's some staining a little bit, but look at it. It's absolutely pristine.
I really want that car. You know what? I should go buy it and then
I don't
bring
even
it.
know. I don't even know if it's still there.
Should be.
But I mean, look at that. Keys still in the ignition.
I think I should go take that car for free and then.
So I mean, like, if somebody can tell me what the year this is by just looking at this. I mean, we did
Right.
figure it out at one point. It has the possibility to have the I think it's the V12 or inline. Yeah, I think it's the V12 could be in this car. Or the straight 8.
Straight 8 would be cool.
There's the front nose.
Front nose isn't as long as this front nose.
No, it's not. But this is I think either a pre-war or right after the war era car.
Mm-hmm.
It's right around the time that they stopped production to start producing stuff for the war effort.
Yep.
I'm not quite sure. I'm gonna take this off the big screen here for a hot minute because I'm not sure what the next picture is. Okay, next picture is fine.
You know, honestly, man.
I don't know. It was in really, really, really nice shape.
Mm-hmm. I really want that thing. Well, I'm just now remembering, in this glove compartment, you'll see there's a little. You can't really see it, but there's a
Can't
little
see
red
anything.
switch, and this thing has an alarm system.
Yeah. Harvey, I don't quote me on anything. I just know that this had the ability to have the big 8-cylinder. I thought it was a straight 8, or it could have the V12, or something. It was a really cool engine. Okay, then that's it. Okay. Let me see. 1949 Caddy.
This thing needs a wheel bearing pretty darn bad.
Okay, it's not the 49. Not the 48. Okay, it's either it's a 47 or older. So yeah, this is close to what it looks like. Obviously not in this color. This is close to what that car would have looked like. So yeah, looks really close to that other car, right? Are you there, Teen, or did we lose you?
Can you hear me?
You're all frozen. So
Okay, but you can hear me though.
I guess, yeah. It's kind of distorted.
Well, that's weird. It's probably because I'm out in the garage, and partly because I'm not on the stream right now. I'm looking on Pick and Pull's website. 1965
So yeah, that was an 8.
to 88.
I forget what options they had in these. So it was probably most likely the 8-cylinder, but this is not the car that this is not the exact car that I saw, but it is that car could look like.
What's going on here with this nonsense?
You're missing. I shared an actually pristine version of that car.
Let me see here. Oh, that is gorgeous. Wow.
This is what that car looked like, and it's either a 47. I think it'd be like a 45 to 47. I think was the years that they ran this style.
Want that?
But
I
yeah,
want it. I really do. I really do want that car.
how's my Nova doing? Hold on, I'll show you how my Novas are doing. They are currently sitting down in a storage unit down in Lancaster. Let's see. They are waiting for my Trans Am to be running and driving so I can bring them home and chop the one up and salvage the other one to make one car.
Cool, man.
I have a bag
cool
of,
beans.
let's just say, you want to know how my Nova's doing? I have a bag of rust in my garage from when we took the one Nova from where it was parked to the storage unit. It was what was left on the flatbed. I'll have to bring in that bag of rust at some point.
I cannot wait. Dude, I really wish I had lots of money.
So
Like,
do I. I'd have my cars fixed.
this car needs to be restored. And, oh, man, I need to just, I really wish, I just wish, all I'm asking, it's not much. I just want $6 billion.
It's just $6 billion. You could restore plenty of cars with $6 billion.
Well, because then I would build a gigantic shop, and then I would pull the body off of this frame, and I would do most of this myself. And I'm telling you, when I redo this interior, I would replace all this crappy vinyl with freaking leather, baby. Leather. This car would be very nice. Oh, $6 billion, I would do everything. I would get a crew in here. All of this would
Environmentally friendly, biodegradable. Yeah, unlike most of today's cars.
Yeah. All of this would be wood and leather, and I would redo the seats even though they don't need to be redone. I would anyway. And oh, this car would be gorgeous, man.
But Grim was asking how my Novas were doing, and I shared this picture. This is the last time that I was down there.
It's crazy, man.
The thing that car in the back, the blue and black one, used to look like. Hold on. Wait, let me. See if I can find. An old enough picture.
Sean, oh, actually, never mind.
What? What's up? Do I even have any pictures of this thing here where it was nice? It's out there. It's out there. There's chicken in a crock pot that's done. There's noodles in the pot. If you want broccoli, you need to throw it in the microwave. Why are you giving me the finger? I'm being given the finger. There's a truck when I first got it. Why do I not have any pictures of the TA when it was really nice looking? Don't whine at me. Oh, here you go. Not the nicest picture of it, but it's a nice picture of it. And of course, I lost you.
Sorry, man.
So yeah, there was my Nova when it looked nice.
What happened, man?
Time.
What do you mean time didn't give it blue doors?
Yeah. Well, an accident took care of the doors.
Jeez.
I got I replaced the door because there was a big crease in the center of the door from an accident. I replaced the front fenders because it had gotten some rot in the bottom corner. Plus, of that accident still fucked up the one fender, so I had newer, nice fenders on it, and the doors were nicer that I put on it from the teal car.
Yeah.
The rear decklet I had to have replaced because I got ass-ended by an SUV. This car's been through some shit.
Why don't you just sell it, cut your losses?
There's a TikTok saying out there something about wouldn't you like to have a nice shiny new car instead of your old hunk of junk? And then they
No.
need to tell you
F that.
absolutely not. That's the same reason.
Yeah.
That is
I
my
know.
baby. The only reason it's sitting
kidding.
is because I haven't had the ability to work on it because of places that I had ended up moving to and life.
No, I'm joking, dude.
Hey, Grim, the Nova picture shouldn't make you too sad. It's coming back. So right now I'm working on the TA, which you can see the pictures up on Instagram. We are putting a Sniper Holly EFI in that car along with the whole kit and the caboodle. The in-tank fuel pump, the distributor with the control unit that the Sniper can control. It's getting a whole new wiring harness. I'm restoring bits and pieces as I go. As soon as that car is running and able to drive out of the garage on its own, the Novas are coming home. The black Nova, I am pulling every salvageable part off of that car. Unfortunately, because I don't have anywhere to store a Swiss cheesed bodied Nova shell, it's going to get cut up and sent to the scrapyard. Now, the gray one that was sitting in front of it is a solid body. It needs stupid things like it needs rear quarters, and it needs a few odds and ends here that need to be replaced. But like the front subframe, the axles, the engine and trans, the interior, all from the black car. In fact, the hood's going from that car, the grille, everything, front core support, off of the black car is going on to the gray car. Technically, the gray car is brown from the factory. It was then painted green and then painted primer. But anyway, but I'm also thinking about transplanting the engine that's in the Nova and going with an LQ4 out of like a Denali. Yeah, Denali. Or if I can, fork over for a wrecked Camaro, grabbing an LFA or LSA. Is it LSA or LFA? The supercharged, the factory supercharged engines out of the Camaros.
I have no idea.
I don't know what they're called, but the factory supercharged ones out of the newer Camaros.
Yeah.
Just grab the engine, transmission, and all of the supporting running wiring harnesses for it.
I'm selling the Thunderbird.
Why are you selling the Thunderbird?
Because
you want to piss me off.
What?
Because you want to piss me off.
You like the Thunderbird?
The blue one?
The only Thunderbird I've got, yeah.
I
this one.
Okay, I share your enthusiasm for the big boat anchors.
Big boat anchors.
Personally, I like them a little older than that car, but...
Yeah, I know you do. I'm a 70s guy, early 70s guy. I have my Matador and the Monaco and stuff.
If the car that I really, really want, I said this a few times, I want a Buick Electra 4-door.
Yeah.
I've wanted one since I was a teenager. I want a late 50s, early 60s caddy. I
There you
think
go.
it's the, is it the Fleetwood? What's the real long one? I think it's the Fleetwood, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. I want the long one, the Fleetwood.
It's got to be the Fleetwood. That's the longest.
Yeah, I think it's a Fleetwood. Yeah, the ones that had the little tiny, not the super ridiculous fins, but the little fins.
Oh man, you don't like Fintown?
Oh, I do, but the one that I want is it has the smaller fins.
Fair enough.
See you later, Grims. But anyway, so yeah, I share. I love. In fact, we just passed a 4-door. What is it? Chevelle Malibu? Maybe it's just a Malibu, but like
Oh,
it was like a
love that.
72, like a 72
Oh,
4-door.
that's my favorite car.
But yeah, he had it next to a 69 2-door.
Oh man.
They're project cars. They were in primer. You know, you know
Oh,
the deal. But yeah, that was kind of cool. Like I only saw it from the one side, and the 69 like hides the side of the 72, and
Yeah.
I saw it from the other side, which clearly shows the whole side of the 72, and it's like, oh, it's a 4-door.
Yeah.
You don't see many 4-door Chevelles. Or
Absolutely not.
like I said, I don't think they're called Chevelles, and I think they're just Malibus.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm not. I think it depends on the one. Yeah,
Because sometimes
I
you can
think
even get a
yeah, they're
Chevelle
just
that has
Malibu.
no
Yeah.
Chevelle badging on it at all. All the badging says Malibu.
Yeah. Then yeah, I think it is a Malibu. I don't know. I think a Chevelle Malibu would be a 2-door,
Yeah, I'm pretty
and
sure
it
the
would have
Chevelles
to
were
be.
all 2-doors.
No, yeah, but they had 2-door Malibus as well, and I think
Right,
those
I
might
think it's
be
a trim
Chevelle.
package. Chevelle was a trim package.
Then yeah, there you go.
Chevelle was like the sport version of the Malibu.
Then wouldn't it be a Malibu Chevelle?
Yeah. I have the model over here has all the Malibu stickers on it.
Oh my God! Oh, I thought I had matching headlights for a second.
Oh, oops. But yeah, so I like the big cars, but I tend to like the older big cars. You
I
know,
know you do.
4-door Impalas, the was the Fairlane 4-door?
They had
The big
4-door
Ford
Fairlane.
4-doors I like. I not a it's like some of the Fords I don't like. They're too boxy, some of them. I like the more
Yes.
rounded ones that they had earlier, like the early 60s.
Yeah.
Um
So you like the Thunderbird? That's still news to me. I thought you didn't care for this car at
no, I
all.
didn't care for your Matador.
No, really?
I thought it was cool, but it's not one that I would want to own.
Oh yeah, no, but you
It's a
actually
cool
before
factor
you.
only because it's rare and it's unique. It's not because I was in love with it.
No, I know.
Even the Lincoln, I'm not in love with it, but I would seriously. I think that's one of the best cars in your fleet.
I'm sorry. What
Which one's
Lincoln?
in better condition, the Caddy or the Lincoln?
The Thunderbird, the Ford, is in much better condition. I'm losing my voice.
And which one do
I
you
don't
think
have a
would be
Lincoln,
worth more in its current condition?
dude. I see what you're getting at.
So yes, it's one
So
of the better cars in your fleet. Technically, your Caddy and your freaking Thunderbird are both the better cars in your fleet because everything else you own right now is, even the ones you recently got rid of, are all far inferior to those two.
absolutely, I am not
I was not
challenging
dissing the
anything.
Cadillac in any way. I'm just saying that getting rid of the Thunderbird, especially if you're just going to get rid of it to get rid of it, if you ain't going to make a decent buck off of it, there's no point in getting rid of it.
Yeah, no, there is going to be a decent buck made, and also it's going to funnel into
Galaxies are nice
probably the
too,
Cadillac.
yes.
It's probably going to funnel into the Cadillac, and also I need to get myself up off the ground. The Thunderbird is awesome, but I don't need it because I have 2 blue land yachts in this garage, and I don't
The other one, I thought the
need.
other one was white. Why did I think the other one was white?
No, actually, this one is technically light silver cloud metallic. This Thunderbird.
Yeah.
So it's technically not blue, but it's very close. And that Cadillac is Mako blue.
Oh yeah, it is definitely blue.
Yeah. but it's Mako blue because this is a terrible ass paint job.
Somebody just fucking lick and squirt, huh?
What?
A lick and squirt.
A lick and squirt. Oh yeah.
Kind of like a lick and squirt
No.
sticker. Just,
Do you have any idea how much Bondo is on this fucking thing?
which one, the caddy or the Lincoln?
The caddy. The Thunderbird was done properly. Man, this Cadillac really, I really just want to, I want to just rebuild the front suspension. The rear is okay, but I want to replace all the bushings and the brakes. But, and the interior is pretty darn good, actually. The interior is kind of where it's good. The vinyl needs to be redone, and I'm pretty sure underneath this vinyl is all Swiss cheese.
The fact that people in my live stream are using Jess's brain frogs is absolutely hilarious.
Ooh, the what?
Harvey says you have brain frogs. Or I have brain frogs. One of us has brain frogs.
What is brain frogs?
You know what a brain frog is?
Nope.
Okay, so I have to go through the quick story. Jess went to her doctor and she was trying to complain that she's got like mental fog. Like, like she has trouble thinking, things aren't clear. And she could not say brain fog.
Yeah.
So she told her doctor she had brain frogs.
Yeah.
Because it's close to fog. And her brain kept saying frogs instead. And so it's stuck. She doesn't get brain fog. She gets brain frogs.
Of course it's stuck.
So, yeah. The fact that Harvey says about brain frogs. Well, I think I'm going to call this live stream only because Jess has got to go to work here in a couple minutes. Yeah. And I'd like to spend some time with her before she takes off. And the dog is back here whining, so I'm sure he has to go out to the bathroom. And, so, yeah.
Fair enough.
Although I loved spending the last 2 hours? Yeah, 2 hours with Harvey and you. It's only been you and Harvey, and I had.
Oh man, do you know how rude that is? Okay, talk to you later, man. All right, we'll see you later, man. No offense,
the stream has been dead. I've enjoyed hanging out with you guys, but the stream has been dead.
I know. It's too bad I showed up this time.
No, I love it. If it wasn't you, the stream would only have lasted like a half hour.
Oh, okay.
So you gotta take Kat's place, because Kat's always screaming that there's no live stream if she's not here. No, it just needs to be somebody. It needs to be somebody that has a decent personality and can chit chat. I'm just not good by myself. I can't carry on a conversation with a computer screen.
Yeah, I know what you mean. All right, well then we'll
catch you guys next. I'm gonna go back to working on my car. So.
Sounds good.
I'm not going to do anything. Or maybe I'll sit here and edit the video.
Do it, man. But, work on the car.
Camaro.
Car.
Oh, I thought you said Camaro. I was going to be like, what are you smoking?
Yeah,
too much exhaust car fumes. That Mazda's got you having brain frogs.
The what?
The Mazda is giving you brain frogs with all those exhaust fumes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's actually just the vibration of my cochlea in my ear that is.
Oh my god! Don't get
absolutely. Yeah. All right. Well, catch you next week, man.
All right. Well, I'll catch you guys later.
All right. Bye bye.